A strong 7.3 magnitude earthquake has struck the Pacific island nation of Vanuatu. Early reports say several buildings were damaged in the capital, Port Vila. Among them, a structure housing the American, UK, French and New Zealand embassies. This drone footage, filmed by a local journalist in Vanuatu, also shows the aftermath of a landslide near the international shipping terminal. Well, we can now speak to that journalist, Dan McGarry, who lives in Port Vila. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. Just first of all, tell us, what was your experience when the quake struck, and what have you seen when you've been out and about?
It was a violent earthquake, the worst that I've ever seen in 21 years living here in Vanuatu. We get earthquakes on a regular basis, frequently higher than 6, but none of us, nobody that I've spoken to here has experienced anything like it in their lives. So it was very close to the capital. So that 7.3, I think we felt every bit of it. Some of the older buildings in town were severely damaged. Some of them collapsed entirely. Damage was not as widespread as you might see in other countries that don't build to such an exacting standard as we do here. So that's a relief to many of us. However, I went to the hospital shortly after the initial shock and talked to police there. They confirmed 1 fatality. I spoke to police later on. They said there were multiple fatalities, but they would not give me a number. It's clear from what we've seen at the triage center outside, that they set up outdoors outside of the emergency ward, that there are dozens of people who have been injured, some severely, some not so much. We don't have a good assessment of the extent of the human toll right now. It appears that a great deal of our basic infrastructure has been damaged. We've got issues with the main roadway through the center of town, the road connecting us to the airport. And I've heard unconfirmed reports that the airport runway itself may be damaged. If that happens, it may hinder the disaster response significantly.
And Dan, just tell us, what's the situation there for people right now? I understand that there are power cuts as well as communications challenges.
As you can see, I'm talking to you in the dark. I've got a torch, a generator, and a Starlink, and I'm actually more fortunate than many people here in Port Vila. Communications are very slowly coming back. I was able to call my family just a little while ago. That wasn't possible earlier today. We've seen power come back to the area surrounding the hospital. It's an obvious priority for officials. I expect that we'll see power restored fairly promptly. But there was damage to one of our major water tanks in the hills overlooking the town. I don't know what the impact of that is going to be on our urban water supply. So I think we're in for a little more hardship before we come out of this.
Dan McGarry, thank you for taking the time to speak to us. We really appreciate it, and good luck to you and your family as well.